When I looked at this place and was kind of envisioning everything that I wanted to have, I was like, what would I want if I walked into a bow shop? Like, what do I want to choose from? Because a lot of folks nowadays can go buy stuff online. And so if they have a place that carries everything they want to have, they're going to come buy it here. And they get a chance to put hands on it and try it versus just looking at it online. So it's pretty cool. It makes it hard for us that work at the shop to just sit there and stare at it all day long because we want to put that on our bow too. So,
dude, yeah, this trip is going to cost me. By the time I leave here, it's going to cost me more money than I anticipated to spend. I'm pretty set up, but I think I bought some shit yesterday. And yeah, no, it's awesome, man. It's really cool. It's impressive. I'm excited to be here with you. Like,
thanks.
We don't travel much for the podcast anymore. We did for our 100th episode, and I've done a couple when I'm kind of on the road with other people. Hey, Jansen, can you move this back? Sorry. So yeah, we've traveled a little bit, here or there for the podcast. Like I recorded with Charles Whitwam from Howl for Wildlife when we were in San Francisco, but I just happened to be there. So my first stop was to come to here, and we're finally doing it. And thanks to SABO and them, helping fund some of it, we're able to come hang out with you for a day.
Dude, it's an honor, man, to be number one on the stop.
Everybody I did a virtual one with, I feel like I owe them an in-person, if they weren't able to make it to me or something. And your virtual podcast stands out, man. We had such a good conversation and like dove into your background and went through so much like personal stuff. If it's all right with you today, I don't really want to talk about any of that.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. I want to talk archery with you, man, because like this is your passion, obviously, with the shop. You've been on so many amazing hunts. I don't even know where to begin. I guess I know that we kind of touched on like your transition out of the military, and it was a hard transition for you. But what was kind of that light or that guiding kind of pull or force or whatever you want to call it that was like, what I'm going to do is just bow hunt? And like, had you shot archery before? Did you hunt before?
No, never.
Really?
Never. Yeah. It's wild. I'm the kind of person that goes all into everything I do. I like to get really into the weeds and just obsess over stuff. So naturally, archery is a perfect thing for that because everybody that really gets on archery has a little bit of OCD to some level. But when I was recovering in Walter Reed in San Antonio, Texas, I had a guy who is now one of my good friends reach out. He was served in the 19th Special Forces group years before me, and he found out that I got hurt. And he has a foundation in New Mexico called Jesse's Little Warriors. And what it started out with was he saw a need for disabled and underprivileged kids that wanted to go hunting. So he took them out and he got them hunting. And he evolved to the point where I think he's gotten 4 or 5 totally blind kids to shoot a deer through a rifle using a spotter. And then he talks about how like bringing them to the deer and putting hands on it. And that's when it actually gets real for him. It's incredible. He's an incredible human being. And he reached out to me, wanted to take me on a sheep hunt and aoudad hunt in New Mexico. I couldn't because I was still in the military recovering. So the next year, that would have been 2017, he took me on my very first hunt ever, and I never hunted in my life. I was outdoors a lot, and I ended up shooting a decent ram on the 3rd day. I walked, and I tripped, and I fell. I missed shots. It was the typical full spectrum hunt of struggle bus, and ended up shooting a ram. And I was like, why have I never done this before? This is incredible because the people, he surrounded me with good people. He brought 3 of my teammates from the military, surprised me and showed up, and they were all there hanging out, drinking beer. It was so freaking cool. So I kept in touch with him after that, and I was like, I want to hunt. So then I started putting in for hunts here in Arizona. I ended up getting, cow elk hunts, deer hunts, and stuff like that with the rifle. And I was like, this is really cool. And then for some reason, one day I was just like, I want to shoot a bow. I was like, let's give this a shot. So my father-in-law had a real old PSE, and he gave it to me, and I started shooting it. Like, this is amazing.
Compounder?
Yeah, I mean, like a PSE Nova from the late 1990s, man.
Yeah, dude, let's
had
go.
Had steel cables on all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you know what the first thing I did? Dry fired that bow. I dry fired it because
Really?
I didn't know anything about bows.
Did it blow up on you?
It blew up on. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Being that old.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
I had to take it to the
Because
all the little pieces,
scary.
all the metal pieces went ping, ping all over the room, and I had no idea what happened because nobody tells you not to drive. You dry fire your pistol and your rifle doing your drills. Nobody tells you not to dry fire a bow.
Right.
Yeah, that's the first thing I did with that bow.
Holy shit.
It was crazy. So I took it to the
I
shop,
wish
got
that
it
would have been
fixed.
on film, man.
Dude, the look on my face, I can't imagine because all the pieces exploded. I mean, it kept the cables on, thank God, but all the pieces from the string that had one of those plastic peep sights, the rubber tube, and that just went flying everywhere.
The one that had the little rubber tube that pulled on
Yeah.
it. Those man, I haven't seen those in a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then it just from there, I mean, it's been a journey with.
So you didn't give up right then and there because you could have easily been like, "Fuck this, dude! Like, I don't want anything to do with it." But what'd you do? You took the parts and pieces to a bow shop, or
Yeah, and I think that the it blowing up and me not understanding why or what just happened, like, made me more interested in archery. It's like, what is going on? And it got me like really interested. So I took it to a bow shop. They got it fixed. I started shooting it. And I realized it was super old, and so I went and got another little bit newer PSE, and just started shooting and hunting. It took me all over the country, and I mean it's a kind of a long story, but basically
we got time.
I know it's crazy. So I started shooting. I was really into it, and I started like really getting into it and I wanted to work on bows, and so I bought a little bit of equipment for my house, a bow press, a vise, some stuff. I made a string jig so that I could stretch out strings and start building them myself, and started like working on it in my garage. And I was like, this is amazing. I want to do this for a living. Like I could do like on the side. And then right then is when COVID hit, back in 2019. And at the same time, Black Rifle was starting their veteran adaptive shoots.
Right.
So they brought me and a bunch of really freaking cool Wounded Warriors over to Utah. They set up a private total archery challenge in the mountains. They brought, Knock on TV and all this, like had everybody out there and immersed
The who's
us.
who of archery, man.
Dude,
Dudley and all those guys.
Jack Carr, that's where I met Jack Carr, and we got to be in his book after that.
That's right.
But so they immersed us in it, and I was like, this is incredible. I want to do this. And at the same time, there was a nonprofit called Operation Enduring Warrior, OEW. They hit me up and they said, hey, we want to do something for veterans and first responders through our foundation. So me and a good buddy of mine, Jonathan Lopez, we started the archery program, and we worked it for about a year and a half. And during that time, I'm still trying to plan. I'm like, I want to open up a shop someday, maybe something really small, because I know when you start a shop, you start from the ground, you scratch your way, up, and it's really tough. And I was planning to start my shop, and I found out that the owner of this shop in Tucson called Bull Basin Archery, which was the biggest shop, been around for 11 years, wanted to sell. And I was like, there's no way.
Oh, so this was an existing business.
This was 11 years been at this shop. And so I found a way to get in contact with the owner. I hit him up, and he said, yep, I'm looking to retire. Fair, great guy, made a great deal, super fair and everything. And here we are 4 years later with Stick Sniper Archery. It's wild.